Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And this is a topic, we could make jokes about this, but I want to approach this one from a very educational perspective, because really this is something that really falls into informative content. It does fall into men's health. But I had a subscriber ask this, and it's not something I've really talked about on this channel much. I've talked about it on another channel before. But I'll flip it in. He had some questions about it. Now, he took a little bit of a jab at Ian McCarthy, which is, possibly deserved. But this is not what it's about. So let's jump over to the real question of what do I think about no FAP. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And that is actually the weaponsmithing point. We're going to get to some of that because that actually affects testosterone production. Now, the whole no FAP thing, why are we going to talk about it here? Well, it's part of men's health discussion. It's part of online men's health discussion. It's part of the fitness community because this movement, if you guys have watched any of the TED Talks and stuff on it, this movement did start largely on bodybuilding and lifting forums online, like I think Reddit, bodybuilding.com. Some of these places are where a lot of this stuff originated. Right, this whole concept for people who don't understand no FAP, basically it's guys going extremely long, extended amounts of time avoiding fapping, basically. No self-pleasuring. And the purposes behind that seem to be multifold in nature. Some guys feel it boosts testosterone, some feel it boosts confidence, all sorts of other stuff. I'm going to get to the good and the bad on that very briefly, because the whole point is that there is a fringe benefit to it, but largely in and of itself, it actually isn't helpful to you. It's not helpful to you at all. But for people with a porn addiction, it is. And that's going to be a whole separate topic because that actually really is a big deal. It's a big deal. It's actually a pretty serious thing for young men these days. It really is. So as far as the testosterone thing goes, what guys need to understand, there's not good data on this, all right? I don't care what you think you feel, unless you want to go run an experiment yourself and get your testosterone levels checked multiple times over several months before and after you do this, that's not useful. In fact, the data is quite the opposite. And here's the thing. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do that cause transient shifts in testosterone production. You guys know that picking up a weapon, right? Picking up a weapon has been documented to cause a spike in your testosterone level. Something that you identify as a weapon. If you're swinging a baseball bat, you don't get the effect. But if you think of that bat as a weapon when you pick it up, you do get a surge in testosterone, right? And actually, there's data on this showing that watching more aggressive pornography actually causes a spike in testosterone. The more aggressive it is, the more it's been correlated with a larger spike. Sexually dominant behavior being observed stimulates testosterone production more. But then again, seeing an attractive woman can do the same thing. Making physical contact with a woman you are attracted to can boost testosterone levels. Gives you a little spike right there. Winning anything competitive against another man boosts testosterone. Rooting for the winning team boosts it. And if your team loses, your testosterone goes down, right? So if a person really cared about their transient fluctuations in testosterone, they would never vote for a losing candidate. You would only vote for someone who you know is going to win an election, and you would never root for someone who's the underdog, right? Same thing with sports. You would only pick the winning team, never follow and be a fan of the losing team, never lose a game of checkers, touch weapons all the time. Right? That's what you would do. But you know what? None of that matters. And that's the problem with this. Just because you see transient fluctuations in the normal range has never been correlated with muscle growth. Right? You guys have this weird idea that if they do something to make their testosterone levels go 5 or 10% higher on a day-to-day basis, that they're going to gain more muscle, burn more fat. It doesn't work that way, guys. That's been studied. Even the amount of testosterone you lift as a result of weightlifting has not been positively correlated in any way with muscle growth. And people believe that that's the case because anabolics cause muscle growth, right? So they just assume any shift in testosterone does, but it doesn't. So what you're getting into here, the other thing is the no FAP shouldn't either, because actually being oversexed through any method, whether it's with someone else, with yourself, tends to boost testosterone levels in the long term more. Like if you're talking about a sustained level, that boosts it more, right? That boosts it more. So here is where the benefit comes in, because people will say, well, that doesn't sound good. It's not the actual no FAP aspect of it that's helping people. It's the porn addiction aspect. Because guess what? Pornography addiction has been shown to reduce confidence. Pornography addiction has been shown to cause it to be more difficult for men to be confident with women and to interact with women appropriately. In other words, someone who is addicted to porn is less likely to get a girl, and their confidence with them does suffer. And one of the biggest problems, their performance suffers with real women. And there's been a bit of data on that out there. There's been studies looking at that out there. And what they find is that because men, when they view porn, they don't usually watch the entire one porn. All right, it used to be when people had it on VHS tapes, that's what they did. You got to change tape. They plug in the tape and they watch the whole thing all the way through, right? Now, because it's all right there, like a buffet on the internet, guys click through. Oh, then watch this one for 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes. Then they'll click to another one and another one and another one. And they see a new girl, and they need that new visual stimulation with a new woman each time. And once you get addicted to that, what happens? Well, guess what happens? Number one, guys assume that a girl needs to look like a porn star sometimes to then turn them on. So if you get with a woman who maybe her body isn't as perfect and her boobs aren't as perky and doesn't have the fake boobs and everything else of what you're used to seeing in the porn, you all of a sudden find her less attractive. You see the problem there? If she's less attractive, you get less aroused. That's been one problem that's been noted. It can cause the inability to even perform right up front. A lot of guys who get addicted to this, and not everyone who watches it gets addicted, but guys who get addicted to it oftentimes can't perform at all. Been quite a few cases of that. Number two, because of the continual shifting, the click through to the next one, guess what? Sometimes, and this is again a frequent problem, guys can't finish with only one girl. Once they become porn addicted, they sometimes have problems maintaining their performance. They get an erectile dysfunction problem. Okay, this also comes back over to confidence. So if you get guys who get a porn addiction and then they can't maintain their performance all the way through, guess what happens? Especially first time with that girl. A lot of times she's like, yeah, I'm done with this loser. Now think about that from not only getting with that girl again, but then think about that from a self-esteem and a confidence issue. So you get a guy who already, an addiction to this can cause confidence issues when dealing with real women. Then he does get with a real woman, he can't perform, he can't finish. He can't finish his job. He goes for a couple minutes and then that's it. What do you think that does to a man's confidence? All right, that will destroy his confidence in dealing with women in the future. Then he's going to really be worried about it. Then what's going to happen next time he manages to get with another one somehow? He's already freaking out about it happening last time. Still has the porn addiction. Happens again. Or even worse, happens with the same girl again because she gives him another chance. You guys see where this is going? Destroys a man's confidence. This is not healthy. Not healthy for you at all. And this doesn't happen to everyone, but there are plenty of documented cases. It's getting pretty common. And it has been common now for a decade or so. So where does no FAP help? Well, if guys aren't doing that, then they're probably not watching porn. Now you go 3 months cold turkey from porn and you have a porn addiction, guess what? That can break that addiction. It can undo some of that to some extent. So there are some real benefits on that end. And I think that's really what the guys are experiencing. The guys who are talking about these benefits they're getting from it or confidence in whatever stuff they're getting in the long term, well, number one, it has nothing to do with the fact of the no FAP movement itself. It's nothing to do with the no FAP. It has to do with the fact that they're breaking a porn addiction. All right, if you start breaking your porn addiction, you're going to go out and want to talk to more girls. You're going to want to meet more girls. You're going to want to meet more women. And you're not going to run into those other confidence issues. So what's going to end up happening is that will help guys with women. It will help them with their self-esteem, everything else, because it will help break a porn addiction. And that's the entirety of the benefit. I believe that's the case based upon everything I've seen. That's the entirety of the benefit of it. But you know what I would say to a guy out there who, yeah, if you're addicted to porn, it might be worth considering, right? It might be worth considering giving this a try, because it would probably help you there. Just my take on it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.